Welcome, brothers and sisters. Today we are going to be talking about Obama, and as undoubtedly most of you have heard at this point, I'm sure that his chef drowned, Tafari Campbell. But what you may not have already heard is that he's not the first chef that has worked for the Obamas that has mysteriously drowned. So let's get into that. I'm going to give you a little information on that, and then we're going to talk about a couple more things. So stick with me through the whole video. It's going to be interesting. Okay, now if you haven't heard, the chef that drowned behind Obama's house in a pond, his name was Tafari Campbell, and he was 8 feet tall and an avid swimmer. Now, what they have said about the pond is that about at its deepest, to my understanding, was about 8 feet. Now, remember, the chef, Tafari, he was 6 feet tall. So, you would think that it wouldn't be probable that he would be able to drown, right, in such a not very deep part of water, right? There's a lot of mystery surrounding this, of course, right? So let me read this. The chef drowned on the Obama property, and the Obamas lied about being there. They refused to identify the second paddleboarder. So there was two paddleboarders, and it seems like none of the news media or anybody is saying who the second one is. For some reason, we don't know. I can only imagine, right? And who made the 911 call? I don't know if y'all have heard this, but supposedly it was a female's voice on the 911 call, and that it has not been identified who it was, but that, of course, it did not sound like Michelle Obama. I wonder why. The local police left information blank on the police report. And what's, shouldn't be surprising to any of us, of course, is that the media isn't reporting on any of this, are they? Now, what some of you may not have known is that in 2015, another chef drowned while hiking in New Mexico that worked for the Obamas. Take a look at that. Very, very suspicious, isn't it? I don't think anybody should be wanting to be a chef for the Obamas. Now, what's being said by people online is that the chef Tafari Campbell, who just recently died, that he was supposedly, allegedly, writing a tell-all book on the Obamas. Now, whether that's true or not, we don't know 100%. It can't be verified, but that is what people are saying. But either way, it seems like being a chef, you would hear typical dinner talk, a lot of things that they probably would prefer you not hearing, right? Not that, this is actually funny. I feel bad for him and his family. But I don't know why anybody would be willing to work for an Obama or a Clinton. I mean, wow. You would have to really be brainwashed to think that that's a good job to have. Now, what a lot of people do know and a lot of people don't know also is that about a week after this last chef, not the one before, this chef, Tafari Campbell, once he drowned, a week later, Obama went golfing. It was the first time he had been out publicly since the chef was found dead back in his backyard pond. And these pictures right here show, as you can see, Obama, he has a black eye. Okay, look at his, it looks like his left eye, and bandages on all his fingers. Now, I'm sure he has some bruisings and markings that we can't see right here, but definitely looks like he was in some kind of a serious scuffle. I mean, you know, it's possible that Michael beat the crap out of him, but I doubt that's what this is. Okay, now here we can see Massachusetts State Police reportedly lost Tafari Campbell's blood sample due to an intern's error. The intern is said to have accidentally mixed it with sample set for destruction. So, if you can imagine that, wow. They destroyed by accident the blood sample from a possible murder homicide. But I'm sure they've already, I'm sure they had ruled it an accidental drowning before he had even gotten to the water, don't you think? So, you know, while they're trying to keep everybody busy by constantly, going after President Trump, the Obamas are literally getting away with murder, I think. Just like Hillary Clinton, right? Constantly into something, doing something. Now, I don't know about y'all, but whenever I had first heard the rumors about Michelle Obama, I honestly thought, well, this is just people being mean, right? Just because they don't like Obama. But since the last few years, I think we've undoubtedly seen enough evidence to truly, truly know what's up with the first husband, I guess we might say, right? But I don't know if all of y'all have seen about the supposed alleged children of the Obamas not actually being theirs. But if you haven't, take a look at this video real quick, and then I'll come back and comment on it.
The chairman of the Obama Foundation just happens to look like your oldest daughter. And his wife, who is a doctor, who is credited with delivering your babies, just happens to look like your youngest daughter. The Obamas aren't blind, and their family and friends, and America's not blind. Somebody has to explain this. It's worthy of an explanation, or you should have got rid of these people. And so, literally, like, distance yourself from them. You got rid of Reverend Wright. You distanced yourself from him. Don't make this man the head of the Obama Foundation if he looks just like your oldest daughter. And just the whole story, I mean, the woman delivers the baby. This woman delivers the baby and looks just like the youngest baby. Somebody, please.
Well, I think it's fair to say that we kind of all know at this point, pretty much, the cat's out of the bag. Or we can say that. The cat's out of the bag. And now, if y'all saw in the New York Post, there was this article where Barack Obama told an ex, I make love to men daily, but in the imagination, supposedly a letter shows. And I'm sure most of y'all have heard Larry Sinclair's testimony from a while back when he was Senator Barack Obama, about, going in the limousine with him and having sexual relations with him and allegedly using drug paraphernalia that Obama allegedly got for him. I think we can all just take one look and realize that these are not Obama. or Michelle's kids, right? I mean, we can pretty much see that. You'd have to be blind not to see it at this point. I don't think that we're going to see anything come out of the chef. I mean, I'm sure it's just going to be rolled an accidental drowning again, and that's the last we'll hear of that. Now, did y'all notice that the Obamas were on a yacht outside of Greece while it was burning? Now, I don't have the picture of it, but I did see before where they were on a yacht or boat. No, they were in a boat on the river when I believe Notre Dame in France was burning. It makes me kind of wonder, doesn't it, y'all? Where were they recently, a few days ago, while Hawaii was burning? I wonder if they were on a yacht outside of Hawaii. Maybe hanging out with Oprah Winfrey, perhaps. I don't know. What do y'all think? Or have any of y'all heard? If you have heard anything about that, leave it in the comments, because I would like to hear that, because I'm willing to bet they were somewhere out there watching Hawaii burn. Now, here is another video real quick. It's not very long. I want you to take a look at. Some of you may have seen this and heard this already, but a large portion of you may not have. If you haven't, I think you might be shocked, or you may not. You might be like, that doesn't surprise me at all. But go ahead and watch this video, and then I'll come back and comment again.
I'm going to play this one. Now,
yes, we can. Yes, we
so
can.
somebody's taken
Yes, we can.
this speech
Yes, we
where he
can.
says, yes, we can 4 times. So what he's going to do is actually copy it and sort of copy it across. So there's 2 copies of that speech. And then he's going to select the second copy. Okay, so just paste the second copy there. You're going to select the second copy and reverse it. Just going to hit reverse. Now he's going to play it. See if you can tell what
Yes,
he's
we
saying.
can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Did you hear it? Thank you, Satan. He says that a lot. During the campaign trail, he said it a lot. And some of them are really, really absolutely clear.
Well, what did you think about that? I was surprised when I heard it, but just not that shocked, honestly, and I'm sure most of you weren't either. I think the majority of people are just fed up with all of this. Most of us are, the veil has been lifted, and we see what's going on. We see what's being done to us, and we see that they're trying to take, our freedoms from us. I just saw a post recently where Obama is trying to make it where he can file criminal charges, the government can, against anybody who reads, shares, or posts anything that's not mainstream news or goes against the mainstream narrative in any way. And honestly, the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if they get that passed too. I mean, it's just, the right is still playing by the rules, and the left, there are no rules for them anymore. They do whatever they want, and nothing happens to them. There's no recourse. They're total lawlessness. They aren't following anything. And if something doesn't go their way, they just, ignore the laws and go ahead and just keep right on going. I think it's horrible what's being done to President Trump. I think it's horrible of anybody to be turning on him that supported him at one point. I hear so many people trying to say, oh, he's part of the plan. It's a distraction. It's a distraction. How many distractions do we have? How many distractions do we need? Honestly, not everything is a distraction. I can't believe anybody would actually think he's part of any of this. The last thing that's needed are any more distractions. they are trying to put him in jail. They are trying to ruin him. They are just sucking him dry financially. I think he's still having to pay like $10,000 or $75,000 like a day to Washington D.C. That's still going on. It's absurd. Well, we can see people like Biden and Obama and Pence and all them. People are just sick of them. They're sick of all of it. And I'm sure the majority of you are right there with all of us. We're just tired of all of it. But honestly, I do feel bad for the chef and his family more than anything. I don't know if I've shown y'all anything that you haven't seen yet. I hope that I have in this video and that you found it just as interesting as my others. If you haven't taken a look at my other videos, please do so. I think you'll like them. If you would, I would appreciate it if you would join my locals. And I'm thinking, I haven't streamed before, and I'm thinking that I might try streaming and see how that goes. We'll see if I can figure it out. I hope I can. If I do, please join some of my streams. Please take a minute to give me a follow and subscribe. And be sure and leave me a comment. And if there's anything that you would maybe like for me to do a video on, please leave that as well. But more than anything, I'm kind of interested in what y'all think about the chef. Do y'all think that this was just an accidental drowning? Or do you think there's, a lot more nefarious things going on like I do? And what do you think about Obama's kids? Do you think those are really his kids? Or are you like a lot of us who are kind of at this point going, yeah, I don't think so. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Honestly, I don't know why, Michelle and Obama and Barack don't just come out and tell the truth at this point. I mean, come on, we all know. Everybody knows. It's not like it's going to do any damage to him, I don't think, People have kind of chosen a side at this point, and the majority of the people know what's going on, and they're choosing. You're choosing to either be on the side of good or you're choosing to be on the side of evil. So I don't think it's going to make a difference if it does come out that, the truth, those aren't his kids. And that Michael is not a woman, And I don't know. I wouldn't be saying that if there wasn't all the videos and pictures and stuff showing the bulge, If it was just like, she had a scratchy, deep voice. I've got a scratchy, deep voice. Mine is from, when I was little, jumping on a trampoline, I double tapped. I was really high, and I hit when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and I broke my nose, busted it. And the second one I hit, and I hit myself in the esophagus. So I damaged my voice box. So ever since I was a little girl, I've had this really, I used to sound like a frog. My voice was so messed up and deep. And over the years, it's gotten better. So, I still get mean comments sometimes, people being rude and saying stuff, but it's gotten better. If it was just something like that, I'd be like, yeah, no, that's not very nice, and I wouldn't be saying that. But at this point, I think most of y'all are with me where y'all have seen enough of the evidence, She's got like 5 o'clock shadows sometimes, and I'm sure most of y'all saw Ellen DeGeneres, when she had on the white pants and was dancing around and you could see the flopping. That's not something that ever happens. She's just as tall as Barack, broader and bigger. I mean, there's a lot of things. Kind of like, Charlize Theron. Charlie. That's another one if you didn't know. Pretty sure on that one. I'm sure most of y'all already know that. Y'all have seen the pictures. But anyway, alright. Be sure and check out my other videos. And I hope you enjoyed this. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.
So I guess the real question on everyone's minds is what really happened to that young chef?
That's a good question, Rachel. I guess it all started when Barack tried to have an affair with him. He didn't really like Barack like that. I mean, they just kind of paddleboarded together and shit like that. But then Big Mike got all suspicious.
Who's Big Mike?
Did I say Big Mike? I'm sorry, I meant to say Michelle. Then Michelle got all suspicious that Barack was having an affair with him. So she confronted him.
She confronted the chef?
No, she confronted Barack, but then the chef overheard that Michelle was really a man. And so they called me and asked me if I could Epstein him. And I said, yeah, sure, but I want to be president again. And so here we are.
All right, everyone. So it's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out. This is the look. I'm feeling kind. But before I go out, I've got to pregame. And the only way I pregame is with an ice cold Bud Light. So good. Happy Friday.